Yes. The Pilgrim has landed at Plymouth. Don't concern yourself with that. It's just more fodder for the rock. But it does mean that I may have to speed up my plans again. Captain said he'd meet me here. I think he's going to take me to the crime scene. He didn't say what time, though. Just once his real work is finished. Jeff said he flew Monica back to Maryland the week before she died. I wonder if this could have been hers. I'm going to take it with me wherever I go, just in case. Who knows? Maybe it unlocks something important. I don't know what time the captain's going to get here, and even though I slept almost an hour on the plane, I'm still exhausted. I may as well try and nap until he arrives. See what's on TV.
Effigy of their god. Of ASMR.
What the heck is this? Local station?
On the human body and the human mind.
Huh. It's unusual. But it is pretty relaxing. Maybe it'll help me fall asleep.
Several tests. Looking at your chart, it appears that you have been under some stress lately. Hopefully these tests will help you relax. Tell me your name. I was a very good swimmer. You weren't expecting that. Not at all. Not even a little bit. It's when it's by land, to it by sea. But I was thirsty. He never knew. He never knew.
It's alright if I come in. Captain Kelly Zeno. Nice to meet you. Mind if I pull up a chair? Here we go. careful. I see Henry spared no expense in getting you accommodations on the Lash. Not like we have much in the way of choices. The flamingo. If these walls could talk. In an interesting coincidence, I took part in a sting in this very room several years ago. If you look, you'll probably still see the holes in the wainscoting from where we hid the microphones. But actually, maybe that's not very good advice. Looking too closely at anything in the flamingo isn't good for sleep. Funny you mention that. I had this weird dream just before you got here. A man came into my room and was whispering into my ear. You might want to hold it right there. I'm not sure I want to hear any more of this story. Are you sure it was a dream? It wasn't the motel owner, was it? Short guy. About as wide as he is tall. No? Good. I had some trouble with him before. He promised us he'd quit. I'm a 3 strikes and you're out kind of guy, so glad it wasn't him. So we'll just chalk it up to a dream. Anyway, I apologize for it taking me so long to get here. Police work is unpredictable. Today we had a bomb scare out at South Snap Shoals in one of the TNT bunkers out there. Turns out there was a large group of tourists came over a couple weeks ago, and one of them left a bag of photographic equipment inside one of the TNT igloos. A maintenance worker saw it, called it in as a suspicious package, and once that happens, it's an automatic all-hands situation. But in the end, all there was this case. Cameras, lenses, pretty vanilla stuff. Bottom line, definitely not a bomb. It's even more ironic because these igloos, do you know about them? Did Jeff tell you about them? Each one of them was built to withstand holding and containing a metric ton of TNT. So it could withstand all of that TNT exploding. So if you had in mind to plant a destructive device, that would not be the place to do it. Like trying to burn down a fire station on a rainy day. Just wouldn't make much sense. But yeah, our igloos, they attract a sort of cult following of tourists, come over, take pictures. Some of that equipment looked pretty valuable. I don't know how they managed to forget it. And I don't know how we're going to get it back to them. Our lieutenant tracked them down. They already flew from here to Martin to LAX to Japan, so it's not going to be easy. But let's get down to business. I think the best thing is for me to just be straight with you. We closed down the crime scene. We dismantled it, reopened the park. It's a public park. We'd gotten all that we could from it. So I'm not saying you can't go out there on your own, take a look around. I encourage it, but it's not sterile. The park's been open now for 28 hours, a little over 28 hours. I brought the evidence we collected, copies of the photographic evidence and a little bit of physical evidence. And we can peruse it right here, right now. I can leave you anything, that's a copy. I'll have to take the physical evidence with me, but I can answer any questions you have. I realize this is less than ideal, but you can't expect us to hold up our proceedings for an out-of-town journalist we know next to nothing about. So let's just deal with what we have, the reality of the situation. Most of the stuff I have here, like I said, is photographs. Photographs of the scene that were taken the night of the murder, the morning after the murder. Here's a shot of the park, Pumpkin Rot Park. It's kind of a funny name. Got the name from the lake it overlooks, Pumpkin Rot Pond, which is just as strange. As far as where the pond got its name from, nobody quite knows for sure. The legend is that many years ago, and I am talking way back in the 17th century, back when Cyril Montaigne was still alive, the village used to host these Halloween parades. This is back before it was even called Halloween. I don't remember what it was called, but they always ended at Pumpkin Rot Pond, which also was not yet called Pumpkin Rot Pond. In the last event that took place in this parade, which the more I think about it, sounds more like a ritual than a parade, was everybody threw their pumpkins that they were carrying into the pond. And after a few years of this, so the story goes, the pond acquired its current ruddy orange color. And it pretty much stays that color year-round, except when it's frozen over. Also, it started to smell a little bit. It's not an overpowering, debilitating smell, but it is quite distinct. Kind of an acrid smell. So there you go. Pumpkin Rot Pond, Pumpkin Rot Park. Somebody suggested renaming the park after the unfortunate Miss Jessup. But I just don't think we need that reminder dogging a place that parents are meant to bring their kids to play, don't you think? Here's a picture of the body. It was found underneath this tire swing. Here's a close-up of the ligature marks on the neck. Hemorrhaging in the eye. This is Monica as a child. A few pictures of evidence that was marked at the crime scene. Most of that ended up being non-related. There's a discarded heat pack, probably from a jogger. I'm surprised the jogger didn't find the body, to be honest with you. Joggers always seem to find bodies. It's more reason for me to avoid exercise. We did find one physical piece of evidence. It's this pipe. It's a marijuana pipe. It's got sort of interesting Egyptian symbols on it. But we believe this belongs to Sam Hayward, who's the boy that discovered the body. So there was one other significant piece of evidence. Monica wrote a note. Now, I'm sure you'd like to see it. And I sincerely apologize to you, but I'm not showing it to you. Her father, Grayson, requested I not show it to anybody who I was not under legal obligation to. What I'm doing here with you is a courtesy. So I'm going to respect the poor man's wish. If you'd like to know what the note said, you'll have to speak directly to him. Now, I'll give you his information. Address, the phone number. But that's all I'm going to do. And do me a favor. Wait a couple days before getting in touch with him. The man is understandably distraught. So, you want to go over the events as we see them? And there are little bits and pieces that we probably still don't have a firm grip on. And we are just small town police, but well, technically, you are right. The Lash is not a town. I get my paycheck courtesy of the Nantucket Police Force. We do have a station here, but it's a satellite. Anyway, that's neither here or there. Do you want to hear the story as we know it, or not? Okay, then. Here are the facts. At around 2:30 a.m. on May 12th, a local boy, the aforementioned Samuel Hayward, was riding his bike to Pumpkin Rot Park. Don't ask me why. That boy is strange. He sleeps most of the day, keeps odd hours, listens to loud music all the time. I suppose he's typical of his generation, but the truth is, we just don't have many members of his generation on our island. Anyway, I don't know how his parents put up with it. I expect they're looking forward to his next birthday so they can boot him right out of their house. That's what I'd do. Believe me, riding his bike when most people are fast asleep is a comparatively minor infraction on the long list of weird things Samuel Hayward does. Anyway, we took a detailed verbal statement from the boy. I have it right here. I'll just play it for you. Might as well hear his own words. Here. You said you'd bring me a Fanta. This is a sun-kissed.
What's the difference? They're both grape juice.
Sun-kissed tastes like crap. That's the difference.
Well, just tell us how you found the body, and you can go home and have as many Fantas as your heart desires. You can take a damn bath in Fanta for all I care.
Man. Guess I'm not getting out of here otherwise.
No, you're not.
It was late. I don't know what time it was.
After midnight?
Yeah, way after. But still way before sunrise. I don't know, maybe 2:30, 3 a.m., something like that.
Go on.
Well, I was riding on my bike to Pumpkin Rot because I couldn't sleep. And sometimes when I can't sleep, I like to... Wait a minute. Shouldn't I have a lawyer here or something?
Look, we don't care what you were doing, Sam. You're here to make a statement. We're not interested in any misdemeanors you may or may not have committed. This is murder we're talking about. We're not accusing you of anything that we have any interest in.
Like, I don't know.
And we don't think you're involved in anything that we intend to pursue legally. We found your pipe, but like I said, we don't care.
No. What? Pipe? I don't know what you're talking about. I really think that I should not say anything else until I get my phone call. It's my right to have a phone call, right?
Look, if you want to clam up, make things difficult, that's your prerogative. But time is of the essence in a murder investigation. If you really want to help us find the killer, you'll just tell us what you know.
Man.
If you don't cooperate, then maybe the things we don't think are so important now start to become important. You catch my drift? You hear what I'm saying to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess I do.
Good. I'm glad we understand each other. So, please continue.
Fine. like I said, I was riding my bike to Pumpkin Rot. It was sometime after midnight. I was going there to pick flowers. I pulled up and I ditched my bike behind the sign. I always do. And then I walked over to the play fort / swing set thing they have. I like to climb it before I pick flowers.
Yeah, I get it.
But before I even get there, I see something under the tire swing. It's white. It's pretty dark out, but the moon was up, so I could see a little, and this thing was so white, it seemed like it was practically giving off its own light. So I walk up to it. I'm not thinking anything about it. And just as I get to the swings, I see a foot sticking out of one end of the blanket. But it's not a blanket. It's a dress. And there's a person in it. This woman.
Could you see her face?
Yeah. I could see the whites of her eyes. They were open. I yelled something to her, "Hey miss," something like that. And then I don't know why, I leaned in and I touched her face. I don't really know how I did that. I guess I was in shock or something, but her face was cold, and as soon as I felt that, I ran. I grabbed my bike, I pedaled as fast as I could back home. I woke up Mom and Dad. I saw the clock then in their room. It was 2:50 a.m. They called you right then.
Did you touch anything else?
I'm not 100% sure. I think I leaned against the swing set for balance. Sometimes picking flowers makes me lose my balance. But that's it.
Alright, you did good, Sam. You can go home in a minute, but you can't get your pipe back. It's been impounded into evidence. I'm sorry.
I still don't know what you're talking about. What pipe, man? Who uses pipes anymore? I use a vapor. So I took the call from Sam's mom. I was out at the scene 15 minutes later. It was around 3 a.m. We got lucky Sam was there when he was. The thing about that smell at Pumpkin Rot Park is that it very well could have masked the smell of decomposition for a while. We might not have found Monica for days. And things would have been much worse if some young kids had stumbled across the body. Especially if it had been that Teddy Duchamp boy. He's even weirder than Sam. So, we cordoned the area off. We did a search from the pond all the way up to where the park meets the road and sent for the medical examiner. The result was strangulation. You already knew that. Hell, you probably already know most of what I've been telling you. All of this was in the briefing I sent Frank. I'm assuming you read it. Take a close look at this picture of her neck. This rope was thick. This wasn't a garrote or anything like that. This is some heavy-duty stuff. And it wasn't newfangled, it wasn't nylon like the rope they used to climb rocks. This was wound rope, double-stranded. Brittle fibers, hundreds of them were embedded in her skin. There were no defense marks on her body. Her fingernails were intact. There were no other markings. She wasn't, how do I put this? interfered with in any sexual way, at least not the medical examiner could tell. Really, she was in pristine condition, apart from the fact that she'd been strangled to death. The medical examiner pegged the time of death as sometime between midnight and 2 a.m., probably closer to the late side of that estimate. And that's all we got. The crime scene was pretty clean. Ligature marks didn't match up with any of the ropes or chains on any of the playground equipment. There was no blood anywhere, so we didn't even have to dismantle any of the equipment. And like I said, we didn't want to keep the park closed any longer than we had to. We only have one park on the island. What sort of man kills someone in a public park anyway? It's sickening. Anyway, with that, I will be going. Like I said, you can have the photos. Here's some additional paperwork, math, which I think you already have. I have to take the pipe back, but maybe you'll get more from this stuff than we did. Now look, I know you have your marching orders from Henry, but I have mine. My single goal here is to find out who killed Monica Jessup, and this is an active, ongoing murder investigation. So you are not legally authorized on behalf of this department in any way. Anything you do, you take on yourself. And that means you need to stay within the bounds of the law. And that means no trespassing. Do you understand? If you get yourself into trouble, don't expect to get out of jail free card. I'm just warning you up front. If you want to talk to people, that's fine. We've already interviewed all of our people of interest, so you're not going to spoil anything there. As a professional courtesy, I do expect you to keep me informed of any developments you discover. As you know, time's of the essence, and an hour can be the difference between a conviction and a case that goes cold. So do not hesitate when it comes to keeping me in the loop. If you shoot straight with me, I'll do the same. I wish you luck. And call me if you need anything. I'll let myself out.